The file they never asked for. Let's get into it. After everything we've uncovered surrounding Deputy Joseph Harker, I had one simple question. When the Baldwin County Sheriff Office hired this man, did they know what had already happened at the Milledgeville Police Department? So we asked. And the answer we got may be more important than anything inside of Harker's disciplinary file. Now, we know there are multiple documented issues during Harker's time with the Milledgeville Police Department: counseling, policy violations, questions involving his body camera, a reprimand involving an accident report, and eventually the GCIC situation where the Milledgeville Police Department determined that Harker used a departmental computer to obtain information for a personal, non-work related purpose. That one resulted in a 5-day suspension without pay, additional security training, and 1-year probation. Major Linc Boyer documented the situation and recommended discipline. The matter was also reported to the Georgia Crime Information Center, which wrote that the incident may have constituted a criminal violation of Georgia law and recommended the police chief consult legal counsel. Harker eventually left the Milledgeville Police Department and went to work for the Baldwin County Sheriff Office. So here's what I want to know. Before the Baldwin County Sheriff Office hired him, did anybody call Milledgeville? Did anybody request his personnel file? Did anybody request his disciplinary history? Did anybody ask what kind of officer they were getting ready to put back on the streets? According to Chief of Police Dre Swaggart, that answer was no. They never asked for the file. And Chief Swaggart didn't stop there. In his response to me, he said, had they requested Harker's personnel file, he would have told them not to hire him. Because when I asked the Baldwin County Sheriff's Department, had they asked the Milledgeville Police Department about Harker's past disciplinary file, this is their response. They said, responding to items 6 and 7, I spoke with the Sheriff's Office hiring coordinator regarding your request. She advised that she spoke with Major Linc Boyer concerning Harker's disciplinary history with the Milledgeville Police Department. She then relayed the information she received to Colonel Deason and Sheriff Massee. The hire coordinator further advised that this information was communicated verbally and that no written documentation was created or maintained regarding these conversations. Accordingly, no responsive written records were located for these items. Now that's the story, because we've all worked regular jobs and they've all called our previous employer. Hell, I've driven a damn forklift and had employers check where I came from before they could put me to work. Now, we're not talking about a forklift. This is law enforcement. You're giving somebody a badge. You're giving them the power to arrest. You're giving them access to sensitive databases. You're giving them the authority to detain somebody, put them in handcuffs, and under certain circumstances, use physical force. And you're telling me you don't request a disciplinary file from the police department right down the road? That's a legitimate question, and it becomes even a bigger question after what happened to Calvin Brown at the Manor Mall on Vinson Highway. Because when Calvin became the subject, everybody wanted to know about Calvin's history. They knew about the criminal trespass. They could pull up previous encounters. People started talking about how many times he had been arrested, where he had been before, what kind of problems he supposedly caused. Everything about Calvin's past suddenly mattered. But did anybody bother checking the past of the man wearing the badge? Apparently not enough to request the file. That's the part I can't get past. You can dig through the history of a man standing in a parking lot, but you can't not attain the disciplinary history of the man you're hiring and empowering to police that same public. And let's talk about priorities. Out of everything going on in Baldwin County, we're worried about Calvin Brown standing around a parking lot at C&J on the south side of town. And anybody from Milledgeville knows people have been standing around that store for decades. Meanwhile, there are serious allegations in the community involving illegal gambling operations, businesses selling vapes to minors, and nitrous oxide products being sold and abused by teenagers. Those matters deserve scrutiny as well. Yet somehow Calvin standing in the parking lot becomes important enough for his history of matter, important enough for an encounter to escalate, and important enough for him to end up being struck by a closed fist. That's why I keep coming back to the same question. If Calvin history mattered, why didn't Harker's? And I'm not saying ignore Calvin's past. I'm saying apply the same damn standards to the person carrying the badge. And that's where we stand. Milledgeville had the file. The chief of police says Baldwin County never asked for it. And according to that chief, if they had asked for it, he would have told them not to hire them. That's not speculation about what somebody might have said. That's the chief of police telling us what he would have said exactly. So now Baldwin County has a question to answer. Why didn't y'all ask? This is Lamar King Sr., investigative analyst, new media, where the truth will never be silenced. Be great today. Peace.